I'm calling this our Colorful Bubbles Resin Pour tutorial that I'm doing in our Crystal Edge C-Mold using Art Pro Resin. Let's get started. I'm using all Liquitex Acrylic inks. The first one is Prism Purple. I mix 6 drops in 1.18 ounces of resin, starting off with 7 ounces of resin. The next color is Prussian Blue. I mixed 4 drops into 1.01 ounces of resin. I keep hitting the camera, so it keeps jumping around, camera/phone. Then it's Let's Resin Ocean White Pigment Paste, 2 drops in 1.35 ounces of resin. And for the push, it's 1.60 ounces of resin with 2 drops of Quinacridone Magenta, just enough to give it a little bit of color. And then for the center, I have some Ikea glass, iridescent glass beads, and Recollections Circus glitter that I bought from Michael's. There it is, all mixed up with a little bit of resin, ready to go. I waited until the resin was 32 degrees Celsius before pouring. I show it here on the digital thermometer for 2 of the colors, but all of them were pretty near that. And you start off by pouring the clear to the center. This is a variation of the geometric pour that was done or created by Sunfire Designs. I wanted to try something different that I didn't know if would work, but it did. I didn't use any mica in this pour because mica tends to close up on me with my molds. Don't know why, but I figured just try to do it all with the Liquitex acrylic inks. And I wanted to do a different kind of pattern, even though I start off with like a star here. I was calling it kind of a crosshatch pattern where I'm just going random lines crisscrossing each other. I'm basically just filling the clear areas of resin and going up on the sides a little bit. Back and forth, up and down, just kind of like, it could be straight lines if I was keeping in any sort of pattern, which I don't. And then with the purple, I just took it around the outside edge. Then comes the Prussian blue. Same design, just random lines, cross-hatching. Right to left to right, up to down to up. It's hard to see when you have 2 dark colors there, but I can see the lines when I am pouring this, and I'm just making sure there's no clear resin showing or trying to fill all the different spaces with the colors I'm using. Then it's time for the white, and I always get clumped up with this, and I say I'm going to do it in a piping bag, and then I never do. But again, it's just random lines up and down, left to right. Trying not to leave any open areas of dark color, but trying not to have the white clumping up all in one area either. Once the white is done, you take the push and just pour it slowly into the center. This opens up the design a bit so you can put your glitter and glass in. I didn't know whether to call this the crosshatch resin pour, but I thought Colorful Bubbles was a prettier name, especially when you see the end result. There I am just putting the glitter in, and I have it sitting in a bunch of resin already so it stays together, and I can just tap it down into place exactly where I want it, and it won't move because it's already sitting in resin when I put it in the resin. I then take a silicone pen and kind of drag it through the areas. At the bottom of the screen, there was a crystal area that didn't have any resin in it. So I'm just kind of dragging the resin onto the crystals. And then if I see any big blobby white areas, I'm just dragging the blue color over it because I really don't want a lot of white on my crystal edges. There's a little bit at the top of the mold as well. I didn't want to play with the pattern too much because I didn't want to change whatever it was doing. Just wanted to get rid of some of that excessive white. Don't want the white up on the edges of my crystals. Using a little bit of a heat torch there, And while I did this on a level table, when the time lapse shows up here, you'll see that it started leaking over that top edge. I had to shore it up with a piece of paper towel to prevent it from totally pouring out. So much for leveling my table. I guess it wasn't so level after all. And again, just touching up a little bit of the white on the crystal edges. Not trying to disrupt the pattern at all. Here comes the time lapse. Oops, there it goes over the edge. Now the fun part, the demolding. I was so surprised at how beautiful this turned out. Doesn't it look like a bunch of colorful bubbles? If you have another name, let us know in the comments below.